John, there he is, John Owley.
Hi, Michael.
What's going on?
I wanted to ask you, so in the previous call, I attended a couple of charity events in London, and you advised to take like red carpet photos. So I've got
Yeah.
like tons of red carpet photos of all the influencers, the female influencers.
You sent them their photos?
No, like me and them. Like you said to get
Yeah.
photos. Yeah, so I've got loads of me with all these girls who
You can
are
you can also give them their own photos and just give it to them. You just want open threads.
right.
Yeah.
Well, my question is basically whether I should be posting these photos of me and these influencers on the red carpet because it's like I'm not like particularly friends with them, and it kind of makes me look like a fanboy, right? As and it's
Um so
it's
so
for
so it
pre-selection, right? But
yeah, but it depends on how do they look in the photo. Do they look excited to be near you or not?
they are leaning
What-
towards me. They are smiling. Um, it's not awkward. I don't think it's not awkward. I mean, I've got loads of them. Like I've got ones that were
Yeah, I find the ones that were good and I would post them and I would post them as a story and then see if you get a good reaction and then if you get a good reaction I might post it on your grid. But for me it's like there's this thing I listen to girls say this sometimes like, "Yeah, we can tell that those girls don't like you." And they can't. They actually can't. If they see a guy with attractive women, they can't tell. They'll say they can, they cannot. And so if the photo shows compliance, you're good. I don't really think it makes any difference.
well, the thing is like, specifically me, Corey, I've been speaking to, and he says that it makes it harder to attract the girls you might want, like maybe the girls you want to marry, or it makes you look like a fanboy, he says. He's like, there's no point in showing pre-selection because,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
I mean, Corey and I disagree on this. This is why we have two different programs. But like, I just think it speaks for itself. Like, just
uh,
show compliance. You
just
just
show.
show like when you show compliance, it's really crazy what happens.
Okay, so it's just
It
that
just works.
different perspective from you and him disagreeing
Yeah,
on
like
this.
the other thing with Corey is Corey's a really good looking guy. So like for Corey to show very little pre-selection, he doesn't have to. But like the
Right.
idea that like a photo like this is gonna hurt you is preposterous. It is not. Or it may hurt you 2% and help you 3,000%.
Right.
Preposterous. And you know it's preposterous, but it's hard to get
Well,
photos of
if
it.
it's like a church girl, she'll be like, "What the hell are you? If you want to
Yeah, yeah.
attract
So
like a
so somebody, I mean, John, you've been in this program long enough to know that there's no difference. It's how much stimulus they receive. It's not church girl. God, dude, there's man, I wish I could have like all the male strippers on the city come on this call and then tell you about the church girls that they banged while they cheated on their boyfriend when they came to Vegas. You really don't seem to understand, John. Attraction is men being attractive to women. It's not men being attracted to good women or bad women.
right." So you're saying it's all is the same, whether whatever girl is the same.
I have found my girlfriend's from Southwest Arkansas. Goes to church. What do you want me to? What do you want, John? I mean, yes. What do you want me to tell you? Yes, absolutely. If you met
Right.
some of the girls that Bulgarian had dated, like previously, they were like very homely, down to earth. They were really young girls that had like were just good girls, but Dan was attractive to them. This idea that there's like good guy attraction and bad guy attraction. John, say it with me. Status is status is status. Okay. If
Status
you
is
think
status, status.
status, right? So you just think about your good girl. You're walking up to your good girl. She's going to marry you. And then here's Logan Paul. And he comes up and go, "Hey, what up, girl?" She doesn't even notice you. Wait, what happened though? I thought you were the good guy though, and you guys were going to get married though. No, there was more stimulus over here, so she looked over here where the stimulus was.
Okay. So compliance
Makes
is the
sense.
key there. But
Yeah.
also like is what about like he's saying like my profile, I've been working it for a year or two and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of maxed in terms of like the photos are all like maxed, he says, and he says it's too much to add on pre-selection on it as well. And that kind of makes it like too much. Is that
Well,
possible?
John, you absolutely can show no pre-selection and have a ton of success with Instagram. You definitely can. That's where he and I agree. The difference is where we disagree is I think using pre-selection is the single most effective thing you can do. And what happens is guys, especially really good looking guys, will look at guys doing this and be like, "You look try hard." But then when you ask the guys who do it, they all say the same thing. Man, I'm getting a fucking ton of attention from women. So you make the decision what you want to do.
So why do some
Go ahead.
guys decide not to, like Vincent, and some guys decide not to do it?
It's usually because of their job, or they may already be in a relationship, or they're really good looking and they just don't need to do it, or they crush it on social media apps, or some other thing where they only like put the pre-selection stuff on their close friends list. That's why. John, if you had some way to transmit that women found you attractive and you didn't need to use social media, you don't need any pre-selection photos. But the problem is we need to use social media. And by the way,
Well,
I would not have a problem with you using zero pre-selection photos and only having pre-selection stories that are in highlights on your top board there. I would be fine with that. Or only have pre-selection stuff going on in your close friends list. I would be fine with that also.
okay, got it. Understand.
Yep.
Um,
It's
can I
it's
ask?
whatever you're comfortable with. What I'll tell you though is I'm comfortable with all of it, and it doesn't like the thing is of course Corey is one of my favorite people in the world, but like what he's saying is a function of opinion and like, but it can't be like look at this photo, dude. It can't be empirically correct. Does that make sense? Or else this wouldn't happen.
It's not just him. Like Ashcan also says that he has to deal with it, where girls will be pulling
Yeah,
him up.
but they also they're dealing with 1/100th as many girls I am. So again, you make up your mind. If
Okay.
you think this hurts you, that's just crazy. It doesn't hurt you, dude.
It's not that it hurts you, it's just that you have to explain to them why you're
No,
with
no,
these
you
girls,
have to.
unless you're
Okay,
a host.
now we've
Or,
gotten to it, bro. You have to explain to them, bro. I explain fucking nothing to anyone. Rule number 6: nobody needs to know who you're fucking. Nobody needs to know how much money you're making. You have to explain to them. I don't explain anything.
well, because you're a host, you're bikini
No,
competition host.
even if I wasn't a host, it wouldn't be a matter. I'd be like, oh yeah, these are my friends, whatever. Explain to them, bro. Here's the problem. Here's what's going on. I'm not talking about Ashkan and Corey specifically, but there's a lot of men out there who have women come up to them and say things like, I don't like it when you do this. When in reality, the thing she's saying is exactly what she does like. You could take my word for it or not. It's up to you. You're going to learn one way or the other, John.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing is, all of us who are doing this my way, none of us are like, what sucks is that the girls are like, I don't want to settle down with you because you're not a good guy. I have never heard a single guy say that to me. Not one single time.
Okay. I think I have to just test it out and see. Yeah.
I would love that. Why don't you do that?
Um, so the other one about monogamy, like you said, it's not the natural state, then
Mhm.
why do we do it, or why should we do it? I mean, what would be in the
Such
natural state
such a great
for
such a great
men?
question. So the natural state for humans is a lifetime of polygyny interspersed with periods of monogamy. And I said that in front of Dr. Buss, and he agreed with me. Okay. That is, if you look at the historical record, that's the way it generally works. Maybe you fall in love with your high school sweetheart, and then you have another person that you date for a little while in college, and then you get married to a dude. A woman gets married to a dude, and then they're married for 10 or 20 years, and then they get divorced, and then she sees one more. Like maybe that's how we're like 4 loves of your life, whatever. It's a lifetime of polygyny, a polygamy interspersed with small periods of monogamy. And that's generally what we've seen. Monogamy is great because monogamy is the fuel upon which society depends. Families are the economic basis with which we can use to produce, and that production allows us to, through our taxation, protect our country with military spending and government aid and infrastructure and stuff like that. Does that make sense? When men are
Yes.
out rowdy, fighting, getting drunk, they're less productive. When they have a mortgage and 2 kids at home, they go to work every day. That's why monogamy is encouraged. And the other thing why encouraged monogamy works is because those guys at the top, when they take one wife instead of 6 girls that they're dating, then those 6 girls can go down a couple of levels. So the guys in the bottom quartile at least have one wife. A
Yeah.
man, a man with no wife or no options whatsoever, that's where you get the anger, the fucking school shootings, and the fucking strapping bombs to your chest. That's the frustration comes from that.
So how do we deal with it if we have options? Like, if we get married, and if you're saying it's like periods, so do you get divorced and then you go in polygamy and then you get married
No,
again?
I don't. Again, you remember the difference between descriptive and normative. I'm not telling you you should get divorced. I'm telling you people get divorced previous to you. I'm not telling you it's right or wrong. I'm just describing it to you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, how do you manage that then? Because the divorce rate is really high, and married
Well,
men.
John, like again, don't be John Owley for a second. be the rest of the world, how do they manage it?
They work really hard on their marriage or they just divorce.
Yeah. You want some other crazy answer from me and I can't give it to you. Like I can't use telekinesis to make someone else believe what I believe. If you are dating someone who fundamentally does not see the world the same way that you do, then eventually you're going to break up. And like it sucks because especially if you have kids, you don't want to do that. But it's like one of these things where it's like you are only responsible for your mind. Here's a difficult one. When you completely have a total internal locus of control and you come to the recognition that you're totally and completely responsible for your own behavior, but your partner isn't. Your partner does not have an internal locus control and does not believe that they are responsible for their own behavior. You have a fundamental disagreement on how the world works. And because of that, then it's going to be hard for you guys to be together. But you can't change their belief. So there's going to be a breakup. That's just the way the world works.
Yeah, you just have to accept the
You
breakup
just
then.
have to accept it. That's correct. Now, if you can find someone where you have a fundamental understanding, you both understand that your feelings are something that you can transcend, and your behavior is something you can control, then you can stay together forever.
And do you believe in marriage and getting married?
I do. I believe in it. I believe we're not doing it the right way right now. I believe the state, in some ways, or in a lot of ways, incentivizes quick divorce. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. Some people do need to get divorced. I'm not a staunch, I'm not like a staunch Catholic or something where I'm like, oh, divorce isn't real. Um, I think I think people go, the thing you should be looking for first is happiness and contentment. And then while you're in that state, finding someone to join you. Instead, what people are looking for is people are unhappy, not content, and what they're looking for is marriage, with the belief that marriage is somehow going to fix their lack of happiness and their lack of contentment. Okay. I'm just in generalization, I find that women tend to have this problem more than men. Women are like, what's your goal? And the woman says, my goal is to be married this year, or my goal is to have a baby before I'm 30. Men do not speak that way. Men say, my goal is to have $1 million before I'm 30. You see the difference?
Yeah. It's just that the way that's set up now is incentivizing divorce. So that's why it's not a good idea to get married, probably.
Um, there's definitely an argument for not getting married also, right? But I do truly believe the best household to raise a child is with two caring parents.
Uh-huh.
And for that reason, above all else, that's why I'm pro marriage.
Okay. One last one, if possible. It's just, why does, I mean, is it true that Dan Bilzerian's advocating monogamy now is better than sleeping around?
No, I talked to him. I don't want to show you the fucking screenshot, but I messaged him. I was like, hey, bro, they just made Valuetainment just made a video about you, or just made this clip. He goes, oh, hell, they're trying to make me out to be the good guy here. No, Dan, Dan had more threesomes this month than you guys will in your whole life. Stop. Just fucking stop that shit. No, they just took one small clip out of an interview he did and tried to make it like they just took it out of context. What he's saying is true. Like the part about like you've just experienced so much stimulus that you stop to appreciate things. It's true. When we're at Dan's house, we're playing paintball yesterday. Like the guns are the best guns that are possible. It's the best paint possible. It's incredible. Like everything is just top tier. Afterwards, his chef comes in and literally the best hamburger I've ever had in my life I had yesterday at Dan's house. Everything is just 10 out of 10, 5-star. And you start to lose perspective. Again, when he was betting $50,000 a hand, he's like, he lost perspective on how much money meant. It distorted his beliefs about money. That's all he's commenting about. That's really what he's commenting about. He's commenting about excessive dopamine spikes more so than but he's saying monogamy is a good thing because what happens is you don't have the excessive dopamine spikes. He's talking about it being a successful strategy, but he's not talking about it being the only successful strategy or that's his strategy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it. Just depends on what you want, really, at the end of the day, I think.
Yeah, Dan is not getting married. I
Yeah.
literally was with Dan the day he broke up with his girlfriend like a couple weeks ago. He's not getting married. Okay. It's not even close. Cool. Awesome.
Thanks.
Cameron, what's your question?
Hey, so you stayed to the end. If you're still watching this, I have a gift for you. Click the link below and I will teach you how to position yourself as a high status man. And yes, it's absolutely free.